Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Now, today we are going to look at the top 6 things that is annoying. Top 6 things that is annoying in Blitz. The top 6 that annoy you in Blitz. Now, there are many things that people get annoyed about in the game, and that could be from, you know, only splash damaging your HE. You know, you're in a Death Star, you can do 1600 damage, the tank you're aiming at slightly moves a bit, and you only do 300-400 damage instead of the max 1600 damage. Or it could be being ammo-racked from a tank. Yes, that's annoying, but for me it doesn't happen regularly. Sorry. There's other things, you know, shooting a tank and it only tracks them and does 0 damage. There's many reasons why people can be annoyed in this game. But in this video, we're going to say what I think are my top 6. It is my top 6. And yes, we've gone for the top 6 today. It was originally going to be top 5, but then I thought of one right at the last minute. Right before I start recording, we found another one. So we're going to go for the first one. That annoys everyone is AFK players. Of course, AFK players are very annoying, especially when you're having a good game. You know, you're having a really good game, but unfortunately your team has an AFK player, and because of that you're outnumbered and you lose. We've all seen it. We've all seen my replays, AFKs for the win, or just your normal replays where someone does 8,000 damage. They're a one shot against an AFK player. Very annoying when it is happening to you and it's on your team. So yeah, no one likes an AFK players. Now, I'm not gonna dig them out because there's many reasons why there could be an AFK player, and I've said this all before. Like, I never really have hate. Yes, it's annoying, but I never downvote them, or unless they do it on purpose, where they say in chat like, I'm going AFK, blah blah, because there's many reasons. There are many reasons. You know, like me, I play a lot at work. I could have a phone call from work saying that something's happened. I could have a phone call from my wife, or I could have a phone call from something important, or your signal goes. You know, there's many reasons why people go AFK. So yes, it's annoying, but sometimes people can't help going AFK, which is it's a shame. But yeah, I know it's still very annoying. Next up, this happens a lot, and that is being raged at for staying alive. Basically, when you're the last one alive, even doesn't matter how well you've performed, you could have the game of your life. You could be on 10,000 damage alone against 2 players, but yet you're the one that's going to be raged at because you're last alive. That's usually what happens in this game. People are stupid, and that's what happens. It's happened so many times, and without a doubt it's happened to you. If it hasn't happened to you, I'd be very surprised. So yeah, being raged at because you're the last alive. Next up, we have ghost shells. Yes, ghost shells are a problem in Blitz. Wargaming know it's a problem in Blitz, but at the moment they just can't sort it out. It doesn't happen that often, but it does happen, and it can change the outcome of the game. Again, it's so annoying. It's happened in my stream recently where I'm just aiming at a player, and all of a sudden you shoot exactly where you're looking at. You could be close to them and the shell just disappears. It literally just vanishes. It is a problem in Blitz. We know it's a problem. Is it a major problem that needs to be sorted now? I doubt it. I don't think it causes that much issues. The game you have with a ghost shell, yes. If you have every single battle and there's a ghost shell in every single battle, then yes, it will be a major problem. But I suppose it doesn't happen enough for it to be a major problem. But doesn't take away the fact that it's still very annoying when it does happen. So the next thing I have is players listening to other players. That, you know, we've all had it on a map. So say like this map here, say it's best to go left. it's best to go left. For an example, it's not best to go left. It all depends on the team, etc. It's best to go middle, depending on what tank you've got. But let's just use this as an example. So say it's best to go left. You always have that one person who doesn't know how to play the game. They're 40% with 300 average damage in tier 10. Just before the countdown hits 0, they say, go right. And people, because they're not experienced enough, because someone has said go right, they listen to them. So that becomes a problem when people say go right, but you should go left or you should go middle, and you 100% shouldn't go right. Like Middlesbrough, take Middlesbrough for example. You just start the game, there's a few heavies that start down, and one of them that isn't good, that doesn't really know how to play, he literally says go down, and people follow because someone has said it. And then when you say it, you're too late, and then people then start calling you a noob because you've said go the different way. Yeah, don't always listen to players, because some people just don't know how to play the game. Some people have no idea. So don't always listen to players, and it is very annoying when there are players, not always the team, but there might be two people. There might be two people that listen to their players. So 3 people have now gone the wrong way, 4 people have gone the right way, and all of a sudden you're outnumbered and you lose the game because of it. So if you don't know how to play, or if you don't know which way is the best for your team to go, just don't say anything. I now never say anything in chat, or I always wait. And sometimes if you look at my replays from the very start, I always wait a couple of seconds just to see where the team go. So yeah, that's what it's come to, because now I don't know. Even though you should go left, you don't know what people were going to do. You don't know if they're going to go right. You don't know if they're going to go left. So I always wait that second or 2 seconds just to see where the team go. And if they all go left, of course, I'm not going to go right on my own. But it is very, very annoying when other players listen to players that just don't know how to play. And that brings me up to experience. So the next up on the list, number 5, is people playing high tiers when they are not ready for high tiers. Now, this is a big problem. Ever since Wargaming removed the tech tree tanks from update 5.5, where they removed heaps of tanks, it is now people are now able to get to tier 10 much quicker. Now, when they removed these tanks, I was under the impression that they were going to add more XP to the modules or to get the next tank. So it still takes the same amount of time to get to tier 10 than before, but it's less tanks. So where now, say you need, say, 300,000 free XP, or XP, sorry, to get a tier 10 from tier 9, I thought that it would be better to up that to maybe 500,000. But yeah, Wargaming never did that. We was all at the time, we was under the impression that they were going to add something like that. But yet, never happened. So because of that, people are getting to tier 10 much quicker, and they are not ready for tier 10. And that is probably the biggest problem with Blitz at the moment, that people are playing tier 10 and they are 100% not ready to play tier 10. Major problem, major problem. Don't know how Wargaming will solve it. The only way that they can solve it is adding more XP, and that's not going to solve it. That's just going to slow it down. So newer players are going to take longer. The players that are already there, of course, are still going to be there, that are still not ready, but it will help in the future. When I first started the game, I probably had about 5 or 6 tier 5s before I even had tier 6, and I only ever went up the tier when I was ready to go up the tier. I didn't have a tier 10. I probably had about 7 or 8 tier 8s before I even ever had a tier 10. I never just grinded one line all the way to tier 10. I stopped at a certain level because I knew I wasn't good enough for tier 10. So I just carried on playing low tier until I learned armor profile wise, until I learned penetration, how to penetrate more, how to be effective with my mobility of the tank. So yeah, I was one of those that waited because I know I wasn't good enough. Now that brings me on to the last thing that we've really just seen this last battle, and that is losing in Supremacy. There is nothing more annoying, there's hardly anything more annoying than losing in Supremacy. How many times have we had it where there's 4 of your team alive against 1, but no one wants to cap the base, and you end up losing against a 1-shot medium or a 1-shot light tank because none of your team wanted to cap the bases. On the other hand, you probably had it in your favor as well, where you've won a 1 versus 4. I've previously, I remember on Black Goldville, I was alone against 7 tanks. This was years ago now. I was alone against 7 tank, being a 1-shot, and I managed to win that because the enemy team, all they wanted to do was hunt me down and try to catch me. But we just had so many supremacy points, and they just ignored the bases. And that way, I won my first ever 1 versus 7. All 7 stayed alive, but I still won it because of supremacy points. But for me, that's one of the most annoying things in the game. Again, when you're having such a good game, it is such an easy win, but you lose it because your team ignores the bases. So let me know what annoys you. Let me know what things annoy you. Is anything on my list on your list? Do you agree with anything? Do you disagree with anything? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be looking forward to hearing what things annoy you in the game. So for now, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye. With